How can you build a great side income without using your face, your voice, your own public profile, your social media, or any of your current friendship networks, your human relationships, your family, your friends, the people at church, or whoever? How do you build a great business without leveraging any of that? Well, it's possible. I've done it, and I'm going to teach you how in this video. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Richard. I'm an Australian living here in Hong Kong. I'm a pastor of a local church. That's what I love to do. But I also love to share online about how you can make little side businesses and build side income streams that can be a blessing to your family, and building side businesses in a way that's healthy and it's not going to kill your family time and things like that. So when we get into building side businesses, oftentimes you might hear online people talking about building a personal brand. Maybe that's through something like social media, Instagram, YouTube, something like this, but where people associate you with something that you do, maybe a product or a service, or and you kind of monetize that. And that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of strength to that business model, and you could almost argue, Richard, what are you doing? You're here on YouTube talking about this stuff. And I'll say, yeah, look at my subscribers. At the time of filming this, I've got 30 subscribers, and probably most of them are just family. So look, I have built a great little side business. Once again, I'm not Mark Zuckerberg, I'm not Elon Musk, but a few $1,000s each month comes in with very little work, and it's a big blessing to my family. My side business works, and you can build one too. And I built the whole thing off zero of my current relationships, and without leveraging any of my public profile or anything like that. Now, the reason I'm on YouTube is because I want to grow my influence and I want to speak into more people's lives. In fact, the real story is I saw my kids were more excited to watch YouTube than they were to watch Netflix. And I just realized I want to help more people, and I think I need to be on YouTube. So that's why I'm here talking to you right now. But you don't need a personal brand to build a business. Of course, if you have one, that's awesome. That's great. If you have no problem in building a personal brand, I think you should go for it. I actually think there's a lot of merit towards that strategy. But for my position, being a pastor, I did not want to leverage who I was at all, for business purposes. In fact, most of my relationships in life are kind of connected through my church. And I never, ever want finance or anything like that to be involved in those relationships. It's too important to me. It's too precious. My church comes first before my side business. This is a side business. Okay, I talk about building side businesses for people out there who maybe you've got something bigger in your heart that you want to do, but you just need a bit of finance, to be able to do that thing. This is what I'm talking about right here. And so for me, my challenge was, how do I build a business from scratch, but without leveraging any of my current relationships or my public profile? So here is what I've discovered. And by the way, this was all as a beginner, with very little skills, and you can do this too, right? So be encouraged. Number one, you're probably gonna need to start cold, okay? So there's kind of no really way to avoid this. Unless you can do Google ads or Facebook ads, some kind of ad to be able to bring in leads, unless you can have some other way, like a lead magnet, or you can build a website that will rank and get leads, or unless you can build some kind of asset like that online, you're probably not going to be able to get warm leads for potential customers. You're probably going to have to resort to contacting people cold. Now, of course, there are easier ways and harder ways to do this, and I found out the hard way when I was cold calling businesses in Australia. Well, businesses, I mean tradies. So they were literally on the job tradesmen, building a house or something like that. I'm calling them. They're up a ladder, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm calling them, trying to advertise what I'm selling. And of course, no one wanted to listen to me. That's a really hard way to do it. And I'm not against cold calling, but it's not for the faint of heart. And you need to know who you're targeting. I just think cold calls don't work for that group. And maybe 1 in 100. But there are other ways to go cold, and maybe it's doing things like putting things out there on Facebook in groups, and contacting people that way, through text, DMing people, DMing businesses. There are lots of ways if you really think about it. Emailing them. You can even go in and speak in person to people. And you don't have to be a sleazy salesman. In fact, I'm not the best at sales. I thought I might be pretty good, and I'd way overestimated my own abilities. And I'm just not that good of a salesperson. I want to get better, and I'm going to keep trying to get better. I think it's a great life skill, sales. If you're good at sales, then this part you'll just love. But it was hard for me. And so I just had to learn. And over time, I worked out different ways that I could meet people, and you can maybe join a networking event. There are things that you don't have to commit to, but you can just join an event and meet people. And they're looking also to meet other business owners. And so there's lots of opportunities out there if you explore that. You can look at things like BNI. If you don't know what that is, Google BNI. There's probably one in your city or your town, and you can meet other business owners. But you're probably going to have to accept the fact that most likely you're gonna have to start cold. And it's okay. You're probably gonna learn a lot of things. You're gonna grow a lot. You're gonna get some more skills, and you're gonna learn a lot about your customer base. Starting cold isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does scare a lot of people off. And it is the downside of not having a personal brand or being able to leverage your own personal network. So that's the first thing. You're probably going to need to start cold. The second thing is you have to have a strong offer, okay? Especially if you're not good at sales, all right? Especially if you're like me. If you go in and you can't sell at all, but you have an irresistible offer, you're gonna make some sales, okay? So for me, when I called up my doctor and I told him about that I believe that I could bring him business, and if he would give him commission, if he would give me commission, then I would be able to bring him some business, and he didn't have to pay anything. There was no setup fees. There was nothing. And if it didn't work, then he doesn't lose a cent. So literally, there was no risk to his business. And within a few months, and I was able to send him some business, and he closed those deals, and we started up a relationship. Now, when I first talked to him, I'm talking about a monthly deal and all this kind of thing, and he was not interested. But when I took away the risk and I just said, okay, let's just go commission only, I was able to give him an offer that he couldn't refuse, because he was already offering commission to insurance people that were bringing him clients. Why not just offer me the same deal? He doesn't pay anything upfront. There's no risk to him. It was an irresistible offer. And so if you have a strong offer, it can offset the fact that you don't have very good skills, and it can offset the fact that you don't know the person very well. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. If someone came up to you and said, hey, would you like this Lamborghini for $1? That sounds pretty good. That's irresistible and, cool. So if you have a strong offer, you don't have to have the best sales skills. The offer will sell for you. So that's number 2. And number 3, the third reason why you don't need a personal brand is that, well, you have to deliver. Okay, if you deliver, then you will not need that personal brand, because with the clients that you currently have, if you get results, there's a few things that will happen. Number 1, confidence will grow. Your ability to perform, your confidence in that ability will expand as you get results for customers. And as you're becoming more confident, you're going to be better around other cold contacts. You're going to know what you're talking about. You're going to have experience. And that comes to my the second part of this, which is that your portfolio grows because you've had these wins. You now can you've got more confidence, and you can actually show people your wins. You can show them, I helped this business, I helped this business, I helped this business, and this is what I did for them, and this is what I can do for you. And so as your portfolio grows, you're actually gonna leverage those opportunities with those cold contacts a lot more than you would at the very beginning. And the last part of that is that you're going to get referrals. If you're really delivering, if you're really getting people results, they're going to refer businesses to you. And I've just had this recently with one of our my doctors. He referred another doctor to me, physiotherapist, and we're currently working together. And it's great. That was a warm lead. So yeah, it starts cold, but then it ends up being warm. And that's why business actually gets easier as you go along, because you get better at it and you start building a new network. And the cool thing is I've built this great side business, and it's not touching any of my friendships, and it's not touching any of my relationships at church. And look, some people may think, well, what's the big problem with that? And honestly, I've just seen over the years, I've seen this become a problem. And so I've just made a decision. I'm never going to let one of my friends or whatever be a client of mine. I'm never going to let money get in the way of our relationships. I just don't want that there. So your values could be different. That's cool. Go for it. But for me, I set that boundary at the beginning, and I'm going to stick to that boundary. So, summed up, you don't need a personal brand. It'd be great if you had one. Sure, build one if you're open to it, but you don't need that to build a great little side business. And don't let that stop you. Maybe you're thinking, I don't want to do those things. I don't want to use my network. I don't want to build a public profile that's attached to this thing, the way I do business. Or that's cool. You don't have to. You can be an anonymous business owner. Like, to be honest, most business owners out there actually are, right? You don't know who they are. They're just successful. They're doing great things, but they're mostly anonymous outside of their networks. So don't be afraid. Jump in and start building that business today. And if you don't know what kind of a business you should build, then check out this video just here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.